The general reason given for the presence of the United States in Afghanistan and Pakistan is that they are there to combat terrorism and to ensure that extremism is not bred by the civilian governments of these two countries. And yes, this is absolutely true that to a great extent the United States is there for carrying out these two very important tasks. But besides these two tasks, there are several strategic reasons behind the presence of the United States in Afghanistan and Pakistan. The first reason has a historical dimension. On the 5th of May 1945, when the Nazi Germany surrendered to the Red Army of the Soviet Union, Winston Churchill appointed a special task force whose job was to submit within 15 days a report on how to safeguard security and strategic interests of Great Britain in the Indian subcontinent and in the Indian Ocean. Now, this particular task force submitted its report within 15 days, and what it said was that in order to safeguard British security and strategic interests in the Indian subcontinent and the Indian Ocean, they need to have military bases in the northwest of India, which is obviously modern day Pakistan. This is one fact which has been mentioned by secular Canadian Mr. Tariq Fatah. Now, obviously, Mr. Churchill could not implement this task because he had to make way for Clement Attlee. But since then, not much has changed in the sense that the power of world domination, or rather world domination, is still being carried out by Western forces. The only difference is that the creditor of the world is now no longer the United Kingdom, it is the United States. Now, the moment the United States gets or makes military bases in Afghanistan and Pakistan, it becomes extremely strong because Afghanistan and Pakistan, more specifically Pakistan, it is a very strategically placed country which shares borders with countries like India, China. You go a few miles up from Afghanistan, you can go into the Soviet Union. Towards their other side, you have Central Asia and the Middle East. So the moment the United States comes into the picture in Afghanistan and Pakistan, they have access to so many countries that they can be geopolitically very, very influential in the area. Now, if you look at most of the military bases which the United States has built over the past 2 or 3 decades, they've all been, built with great amount of emphasis on the geopolitical structure. For example, if you look at US presence in Iraq, then too, it is a very, very significant one because Iraq is sandwiched between Shia Iran and Sunni Wahhabi Saudi Arabia. So when you get a military base in Iraq, then you ensure that there is no conflict between Iran, which is Shia majority, and Saudi Arabia, which is a Sunni Wahhabi country. The second reason behind the presence of the United States in that particular region is obviously to isolate Iran, which has been partially successful and it has been a partial failure. Now, the original plan was to hamper the construction of Iran-Pakistan-India pipeline, and that is how Iran was supposed to be isolated. But now that Iran and Pakistan have individually gone ahead with the structuring or with the establishment of the gas pipeline, this plan of the United States has to a great extent failed. Now, the third plan was in connection to the second plan, which was to isolate Russia, because Noam Chomsky says if India does not get its gas from Iran, Pakistan, India pipeline, then from where will it get it from? It will get it from the other pipeline, which is Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. Now, as of now, Turkmenistan supplies over 60% of its gas to Russia. The moment India comes into the picture, a country with a huge population of 1.25 billion, it is but obvious that Turkmenistan's supply of gas towards Russia will, drastically fall, and its supply towards gas will drastically increase. And hence, geopolitically and strategically, Russia will be isolated, and India will in turn get its gas, through Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, India and United States of America will get closer, and China will also be, in a way, very significantly, countered and checked in the region. So these are the basic reasons why the United States is interested in staying in Afghanistan and Pakistan.